Hello and welcome to a new video. In this one I will cover the topic of toxic masculinity. I believe that it's a very important topic, especially nowadays when we look of what's happening in the world and we see so many men being in the center of the attention as troublemakers. We see what's happening in Russia and Ukraine with the war. We see, the abortion law in the United States, the rise of authoritarian regimes and so on. So I believe that toxic masculinity is a concept that is worth investigating because it may be at a root cause for some of these problems. And in this video we will be investigating this. This video contains several parts. In the first part of the video I want to share with you a couple of videos that certain influencers from America and Canada are offering their ideas, which from my point of view I believe they are in this area of toxic masculinity. So there are 5 videos, we will be watching them. It's for about 7-8 minutes, and then there's a part in which I will comment these videos and give some insights about toxic masculinity, my own perspectives, effects and causes. And then in the third part of the video I want to share how toxic masculinity affected me personally. And then in the fourth part at the end, some ideas on how we can shift this paradigm and transition from toxic masculine ideas into more healthy and mature masculinity. Because I believe that masculinity is very important, equally important as femininity, and we need to embrace it in a healthy way. So now, before going into the videos, I want to invite you, if you feel like, to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also hit the notification bell, because it will help you find out when I release new videos. This little announcement may be boring for you, but for me it will help me with the YouTube algorithm and with expansion of this YouTube channel. So thank you so much for considering doing that. Now, going to the videos, as I told you, there are several videos that I want to share with you, and before showing them to you I want to have a little disclaimer that these videos are can be quite harmful and can be quite toxic in a way, at least for me, from my point of view. And maybe before mentioning more about them, is that at one point I was engaged with these guys, I was following them, I was connected with some of their ideas. But later on, as I experienced more and more about masculinity, I realized that they are, from my point of view, on the wrong track. So just a disclaimer, I do not support these ideas. They are only as case studies to look into the topic of toxic masculinity. The ideas that they will be sharing and the way they will do it, they may trigger you, may harm you, may offend you, but I'm just inviting you to watch these videos as detached as possible and just to look at them as a learning process. Okay, this being said, let's watch these videos and then we will return to comment on them. Thank you, see you soon.
Andrew, can you tell us about toxic masculinity and what it is in your eyes? Does it exist? Is it a farce?
Toxic masculinity.
Because you're considered the king of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I've got that title.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity is a term that was invented by women nobody wants to fuck to describe the men that the women do want to fuck.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That's all it is. That's all it is. No, but on a real level, right, this whole idea of being toxically masculine is complete garbage. And the reason it's garbage is because it's a first world problem first. Because when you put males and females in survival situations, or the closer they are to a survival situation, the quicker they're going to revert to their gender roles. If you put a whole bunch of men and a whole bunch of women, you strand them on a desert island, the men would start having to build things and fight off the animals, and the women would start farming and whatever the women would do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah? So when shit hits the fan, everyone reverts to their natural gender roles. So if you live in a country like Romania or Russia or a country that's poor, the closer it is to survival, the lower the economic prosperity of the country, the closer people are to their natural gender role. So Russian men are masculine, Russian females are feminine. But in America, it's the richest country in the world. It's a first world problem. All the women get to be stupid and the men get to be pussies because it's just a first world problem. This whole idea of being toxically masculine is absolutely garbage. Nobody's toxically, listen, you're not going to call me toxically masculine if someone breaks in the house and I start spraying. No one's going to start calling me toxically masculine. No, there was no one called toxically masculine when they were fucking staying on the Titanic to die, right? The whole thing is garbage, and it's just by women who are bitter and jealous trying to insult and demonize men for being natural to their instinct. I don't want to rant too much, right?
No, continue.
I don't want to rant. Okay, let's go. Let's go. The world we live in today tries very, very hard to refuse a man his natural instincts as a man.
Yeah.
And this is done on purpose. This is not done on accident. There's no war on men on accident. Men are the ones who start revolutions. If you look at any revolution in history, it was the men who were on the street and started that revolution. If you want to control a populace, the first thing you do is control the men. When the Romans went and conquered Sparta, they killed all the men, all the young boys, all the fighting age males. When you're left with nothing but females, you can conquer and control a society. We're living in a world right now where there's supposedly some virus and you have to stay in your house and put a mask on, and everyone's complying like cowards. And the reason is because they've destroyed the masculine spirit in men. If you would have told men 100 years ago, we're going to take your business away, we're going to bankrupt you, and they're going to lock you in your house, every single man would have stood up and said, what? Who are you? You ain't listening to us. The people who are in charge of the world want to control the population, and the easiest way to do that is to remove the warriors from the populace.
Facts.
That's all it's about. So when men try and act in a masculine way, they're toxically masculine. They demonize us. And then another way they do is they try and shame us. Shame is another tactic. Oh, Andrew, when are you going to grow up and stop fucking all that hot pussy? Grow up.
Who hurt you?
Yeah,
who
like,
hurt you?
Who
Yeah.
hurt your feeling? I'm enjoying my life. Right? I'm enjoying my life. Like, and I enjoy the company. I'm not saying I can't be loyal if I have a girlfriend, of course. But also, if I'm single and I don't want to be loyal, I'm a full-grown man. I can make my own choices, right?
Yep.
Why should I be demonized or shamed for that? But they don't want that. They want men. We are the backbone of every economy.
Facts.
They want us to be worker ants.
Facts.
They want us to be semi-depressed with no fighting spirit to resist against the tyranny. They want us paying taxes as tax slaves in a sexless marriage with kids who don't respect us. No one talks about male depression. Nobody cares that the men are miserable. Nobody cares. As long as we pay our taxes and we don't divorce her because we're scared of losing the house, and we continue to raise those kids and sit there while she refuses to give you a blowjob more than once a year, that's all the government wants from men.
Yep.
That's all they want from us. That's it. And that's why toxically masculine or toxic masculinity was coined. It was another weapon, a weapon against your natural instinct as a man to rebel. That's what it's all about.
Bro, don't DeMarco.
Now you guys know why we have him on the show.
I am not that girl. I am not the one-night stand girl. I am not the late-night lonely call girl. I am not the rebound girl or the girl you can always come running back to. I am not the girl that you can lie to, cheat on, or manipulate. I am not that girl because I am the girl that knows what she brings to the table and that won't settle for less until she finds...
Actually, you are the one-night stand girl. You are the girl that you can lie to, cheat on, and you'll always come running back. You are that girl. You know how I know that? Because you're still single, right? And you're over 30. You are that girl. And obviously, she's not bad looking, okay? She's somewhat attractive, right? I mean, she's not no dime or anything like that, but she's attractive enough to the point where I can guesstimate that she has at least a few hundred orbiters in her life now that are messaging her, texting her, sitting in her friend zone, being her emotional tampon while she cries about all the bad boys.
Well, they're just using him for his money. So, he's just using them for their beauty. What's your point? Got a crazy video for you today. She's not yours, it's just your turn. A woman should be a complement to your life, not the focus. Do the work. Women do not care about your struggles. They hang out at the finish line and they pick the winners.
Men want status. So what do we want from our woman? We want someone who's going to help us with our status. Yeah. And status is going to be derived from scarcity, right? So you're not going to be able to help us with our status if you're acting like every other chick out there. Yeah. So that's why we want you to be beautiful, of course. But we also want you at home. We don't want you in the club, because I can get a beautiful girl who goes to the club. Every other dude has one. But we want one who's beautiful and at home, because that makes her unique. And if she's unique, I gain what? Status. Okay, well, we're at home. Does that make sense? Right. Is this starting to make sense, right? So if you want to make your man happy, you have to sit there and say, how can I increase this man's status?
I've said before, if you've read my work, you know what I'm going to say. The existential fear of women is to not be able to select who they want to breed with. That's why they call it patriarchy. That's why women hate the idea of premarital, the restrictions on premarital sex. That's why women hate the idea of duty sex from a religious perspective. That's why women hate the idea of prearranged marriages. It's like that's the worst. God forbid a man actually find a woman, a mate, your dad or your brother or whatever, finds you an appropriate husband. God forbid. The reason that right there is the height of female existential fear, is to have that taken away from them. And yes, forced copulation, I'm not going to say the R word, EPAR, right? That's the ultimate expression of that fear, is having that selection, having that taken away from them by force. Now, that might not be force in this case, but it might be your dad saying, okay, I'm going to prearrange a marriage for you. That right there seems like barbaric today. And the reason it seems barbaric, it might be the best practical choice. Hell, there's probably women right now who go, yes, please find me a man. Find me a high value guy. Kevin, find me a high value man. Yeah, they would probably very much love that. But you're not going to get that, ladies. Not on your own. You're going to get Tinder swindler.
All right, welcome back. So, what do you think about these videos? How did they make you feel? What did you get out of this? So by looking at these guys, what I see is that they carry, at least this is what I see, maybe it's my projection or not, but what I feel that these guys carry a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. And this frustration and this anger is reflected especially on women. And they have negative judgments about women. They also use lots of generalization. Women are like this, men are like that. So this is very, very toxic, very harmful for anyone. We are human beings, individual beings, that we carry our own individual journeys. We all have a history, a past. We go through struggles. Maybe we had hard times, traumas, wounds. And I believe that most of the people are well-intentioned. We want to strive to live better lives. And how come some people, they just dare at shaming other humans, especially women? This is, for me, it's totally wrong. Another idea is that they see women, but not only women, but men as well, as objects. Women are objects for man's pleasures. And often one idea that one guy had is that women are beauty objects and men are success objects. So regardless of these two ideas, neither man nor women should be objectified. We are human beings that have our own life journeys, and we need to be respectful for that. For me, trying to define what toxic masculinity is, I came to the conclusion, and this is my own definition, is that toxic masculinity represents the dark side of masculinity, and I will get back to this a little bit later. So represents the dark side of masculinity that is defined as the right way of being a masculine man. So about the dark side of masculinity. So there is this book, Kings, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and in this book the authors that are Jungian psychologists, they identified that there are 4 masculine energies, archetypes, defined through the king, warrior, magician, and lover. And these energies represent the mature and healthy masculinity. But these 4 dimensions, they also have a dark side, a shadow side. And for example, the king has as a dark energy the tyrant, the one that is aggressive, controlling, dominant, and so on. The warrior has the dark side of the sadist, that part that enjoys pleasure and gets pleasure by harming other people. The magician has the dark side, is the detached manipulator, the one manipulating people for their own interest. And the lover, the dark side of the lover, is the addict lover. So I believe that parts of these dark energies are embodied by these men in the videos. And the reason why we have them, because all men can have access to the healthy energies, and all men have access and are sometimes taken over by these dark energies, is when we get in touch with the dark energies is because we need to do some healing work and personal development work. Because very often I believe that when we are wounded, we are much easily closer to these dark energies. Richard Rohr is an American spiritual teacher who wrote extensively about masculine spirituality. He says that the pain that we do not transform, we transmit. And I believe that this is so true for these guys in these videos, because I resonated very strongly with many of these ideas a while ago when I was in pain. So I had some experiences with some women that triggered my traumas and childhood wounds and feeling of inadequacy and not being enough. And so I was in that space of really struggling and not feeling good. And when I was in that space, it was the moment in which I found these guys and I resonated with that. So I believe that it was the pain inside of me that was projected onto the pain of these guys that were talking, and I found a strong resonance, and I say, yeah, you are right, because I feel the same. But as time passed and I healed myself and I evolved and I looked back into my pain, I realized that those ideas are unhealthy. Nowadays I can no longer watch these guys because I see how these ideas are really limiting and really toxic. Because when I was following these guys, I've noticed how I get those ideas into my system and I behave with those ideas, and I started having suspicion on women and on men, and I began being more judgmental and critique, and certainly all this disconnected me from my heart. And I realized how harmful that was for me in my day-to-day relationships. Alright, so now looking back at all this with a new perspective, I believe that toxic masculinity exists, and it is an issue for many men nowadays. And I believe that we shouldn't fight back with the same reaction, being reactive and begin, jumping on this man and doing harm to them. But I believe what is really important is to open our hearts and be ready for healing, for growing, for understanding, for compassion. Because I believe masculinity is beautiful, And it's beautiful when man can access the energy of the king, of the warrior, to be determined, to have a mission, a direction, to have persistence. It's really beautiful when men are in touch with their inner magician and they explore their depths, the spirituality of life, the mysteries of life. And I believe it's so beautiful when men act as healthy lovers and they are in touch with their emotions, in touch with deep emotions, with love. Because we need as men to be whole. We cannot be single-minded and act only as unhealthy warriors and grow muscles and shout bad and negative words to the others. I believe that both men and women need to come together in safe spaces to listen to each other and to heal to each other. And I believe that it's important to do this by also looking at our dark sides, to looking into our shadows and to see how we are harming others, because certainly I have harmed other people when I was in my toxic masculine energies. And this is what I wanted to share in this video. I wanted to bring a little bit of awareness and also a little critical thinking for we as men to be careful what men we are following and we are following as models, and to look for healthy masculine models. Because, for example, Richard Rohr, the one that I am still speaking about, he said that a true man, a mature man, is the one who is holding power with grace and compassion. Holding power with grace and compassion. So brothers and sisters and others, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's all speak up when we see toxic behaviors coming from anyone. Let's call for the oppressors out. Let's stand up for manipulation, against manipulation. Let's be critical thinkers, and also let's be kind and compassionate towards each other and support each other, grow and overcome our dark sides, because at the core of our hearts we are kind people that want to live good lives. Thank you so much. I really hope this video gave you interesting insights and that you can get something out of this. Thank you. My name is Bogdan Romanica, Nature-Based Human Development Guide. Consider subscribing and please comment on this video. What are your opinions? What do you think about what I've shared here? Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye bye.